Welcome to English Loop Daily, your daily loop of clear English. Find a quiet place, press play, and just listen. You do not need to catch every word. You do not need to stop and translate. Just follow the voice, follow the idea, and let your English move with it. Today, a simple question. Why do small tasks feel harder than big dreams? A big dream can feel exciting. You imagine a better version of your life. Maybe your body is stronger. Maybe your work is better. Maybe your room is clean. Your project is finished. Your English is easier. Or your days feel less messy. In your mind, it almost feels real. You can see the result. You can feel the energy. You can picture the person you want to become. And for a moment, the dream gives you something good. Hope, direction, and a little picture of the future. But then comes the small task. You open the laptop, and the dream is not just a dream anymore. You write the first sentence, and the idea has to become words. You send the message, and now someone else can answer. You put on your shoes, and the plan moves from your head into your body. Suddenly the energy changes. The dream felt light, but the task feels heavy. And that is strange because the task is not huge. It may take only 5 minutes. It may be simple. It may even be easy. But still you avoid it. You walk around it. You think about it. You promise yourself you will do it soon. You wait for the right mood, the right time, the right feeling. And sometimes the whole day passes. The big dream stays alive in your mind, but the small task stays untouched in real life. Maybe this happens because a dream can stay beautiful from far away. But a small task brings it close. It asks you to deal with the real thing. And that is why the smallest step can sometimes feel heavier than the biggest dream. One reason this happens is that big dreams feel safe from far away. When a dream is still in your imagination, it does not argue with you. It does not show you the hard parts. It does not ask how much time you have, how much energy you have, or what you will do when the first problem appears. It simply sits there, looking possible. That is part of its power. A big goal can give you energy before you have done anything. It can make an ordinary day feel connected to something larger. It can help you believe that your life is not only what you see right now. And sometimes we need that. We need a picture that pulls us forward. We need something that says, this is not the whole story. There can be more than this. But there is another side to it. From far away, the future can stay clean. In your mind, the project has no confusing middle. The new habit has no ordinary day when you do not feel like doing it. The better body has no first workout where you feel weak. The clean room has no pile of things you do not know where to put. From far away, you mostly see the result. The slow part is easy to miss. So is the awkward part. So is the part where you try, stop, try again, and wonder why it is taking so long. This is why imagining can feel so smooth. In your mind, you can jump from the beginning to the ending without living through the middle. You do not have to make real choices there. You do not have to be patient there. You do not have to watch yourself be slow, confused, or disappointed. But real life is different. Real life does not let you jump straight to the final picture. It asks you to begin with something small, and that small thing usually looks nothing like the future you imagined. The goal may look like freedom. The first task may look like opening a plain document. The goal may look like confidence. The first task may feel like not knowing what to say. The goal may look like a new life. The first task may be one quiet minute where nothing feels special yet. And this is where many people stop. Not because they do not care. Sometimes they care too much. They have made the future so beautiful in their mind that the first step feels disappointing. It feels too normal, too slow, too real. And maybe that is one of the hardest parts of starting. The first step does not feel like the dream. It feels like work. And work has a different feeling. A dream can live quietly in your mind for years. It can stay private. No one has to see it. No one has to judge it. You can change it, improve it, or make it bigger whenever you want. But a small task is different. It begins to show something real. The first sentence shows you whether the idea is clear or not. The first workout shows you what your body can really do today. The first look at the project shows you what is missing. And one simple message can remind you that another person may answer, ignore it, or ask something you are not ready for. This is why small tasks can feel like proof. Not proof that you are good or bad. Not proof that everything will fail or succeed. Just proof that the dream has touched real life. And real life is not always gentle with the picture in your head. In your imagination, the beginning may look clean. You start and things begin to move. You feel focused. You know what to do. You make progress. You feel proud. But the real beginning is often much smaller. You sit there for a minute. You look at the screen. You read the same line twice. You write one sentence, delete it, and write another one that still does not feel right. Nothing feels powerful yet. Nothing looks like the person you imagined. And that can be uncomfortable, because the small task is not only asking, "Can you do this?" It is also asking if you can meet yourself at the beginning. Can you be slow without turning it into a story about your whole life? Can you do something badly for a while without deciding that the dream is wrong? Can you start before you feel like the person you hope to become? This is where a simple task becomes heavy. 10 minutes of studying can start to feel like a question about whether you are really improving. One workout can start to feel like a question about whether you are serious this time. One message can start to feel like a question about what might happen if you try and nothing changes. So the mind protects itself in a small way. It says, later. Later when you have more energy. Later when the plan is clearer. Later when you feel more ready. And because later keeps the dream alive, it can feel safe. You have not failed yet. You have not been disappointed yet. You have not tested the dream against the real world yet. The dream is still beautiful because the task is still waiting. But waiting has a cost. The longer the small task waits, the heavier it becomes. Not because the task has changed, but because your mind has had more time to build a story around it. A 5-minute task becomes a sign of your discipline. A short message becomes a test of your courage. A simple beginning becomes a judgment on who you are. And now the task is not small anymore, at least not in your mind. This is how a small task grows, not in real life, but in your mind. At first, it is only a task, a file to open, a message to answer, a short workout to start, a small corner to clean. Then it becomes a reminder. Then it becomes pressure. Then it becomes something you do not want to look at. You may pass by it many times in one day. The file is still there. The message is still waiting. The shoes are still near the door. Nothing has moved, but something has changed. Each time you notice the task and leave it for later, it collects a little more meaning. It starts to feel personal. This is why avoidance is not always restful. You may think you are resting because you are not doing the task. But part of your mind is still holding it. Part of you still knows it is there. You watch something, but the task is there. You eat, but the task is there. You lie down, but the task is there. It does not shout. It does not move. It simply waits. And waiting can make simple things feel heavier. The strange part is that doing the task may take less energy than carrying it in your mind for hours. But carrying it feels easier because it asks for nothing right now. Doing it asks for a beginning. And beginnings are honest. A beginning shows you where you really are, not where you wish you were, not where you imagined you would be by now, just where you are today. Maybe you are slower than you hoped. Maybe you are more tired than you expected. Maybe you need help. Maybe the task is not as easy as you wanted it to be. That can feel disappointing, but it can also be useful. Because once you know where you are, you can start from there. The problem is, many people wait until they feel ready to see the truth. They want to begin when they feel strong, clear, organized, and certain. But real beginnings rarely feel like that. Most beginnings feel a little messy. You start before the plan is perfect. You write before the sentence is beautiful. You move before the energy arrives. You clean before the room looks different. You study before the lesson feels easy. And slowly, the task becomes less mysterious. Not because it became smaller, but because it stopped living only in your mind. Once you touch it, it changes. The document is not just a symbol anymore. It is a document with one weak sentence, and that is still better than an empty page. The workout is not a perfect future anymore. It is 10 real minutes, with real breathing, real effort, and maybe a little pride at the end. The message is not a mountain anymore. It is a message sent, and now the next part can happen. Small action removes some of the story. It does not remove all fear. It does not make everything easy, but it brings the task back to its real size. And often, the real size is much smaller than the size your mind created while you were waiting. So maybe the way to begin is not to make the task feel more important. Maybe it is to make it ordinary again. That may sound strange because we often do the opposite. We look at a small task and place a whole future on top of it. We tell ourselves that this is the moment we become serious, the moment we change, the moment we finally prove something. But that is too much weight for a simple beginning. A page is not your whole future. 10 minutes is not your whole discipline. One small action is not your whole identity. It is only a place to start. Maybe a better way is to let the task be small enough to touch. You open the file only to see what is there. You write one sentence only to make the page less empty. You put on your shoes only to make the next movement easier. You study for 10 minutes only to meet the language again today. A small task becomes easier when it is allowed to be small. The problem is that we often want the first step to feel special. We want it to feel like a clear sign that something has changed. But most first steps do not feel like that. They feel normal. Sometimes they feel boring. Sometimes they feel uncomfortable. Sometimes they feel like nothing is happening. And that is okay. Not every useful thing feels powerful while you are doing it. Sometimes the value appears later, after the page is no longer empty, after the body has moved, after the message has been sent, after the lesson is finished. This is why starting can become easier when you stop asking the task to prove everything. Let the first sentence be weak. Let the first workout be short. Let the first try be awkward. Let the first day be smaller than the dream. You are not lowering the dream. You are giving it a place to land. Because a dream that never touches a small task stays in the air. It may look beautiful there, but it cannot become part of your day. The small task is where the dream begins to enter real life. Not all at once, not in a perfect way, just a little. And maybe that is enough for the beginning. And maybe this is the simple truth about big dreams. They do not become real because we think about them harder. They become real when we allow them to become ordinary for a while. A dream in your mind can stay perfect. It can stay clean, bright, and far away. But a dream in real life has to become something smaller first. It becomes a sentence, a message, a short walk, an open file, or one imperfect try. That may not feel exciting at first. It may not feel like the future you imagined. It may not feel like a big change. But it is still movement. And movement matters because it changes the task. Before you begin, the task can become almost anything in your mind. It can become fear. It can become pressure. It can become a story about who you are. But after you begin, even a little, the task becomes more honest. You can see it more clearly. You can touch it. You can change it. You can continue from there. So the next time a small task feels too heavy, maybe you do not need to ask, "Why am I like this?" Maybe you can ask a smaller question. What is the first ordinary thing I can do? Not the perfect thing. Not the impressive thing. Just the first real thing. Because a big dream does not need you to become a new person in one moment. It only needs one small place to begin. And sometimes the task that feels too small to matter is the exact place where the dream finally meets your life. This was English Loop Daily. Listen again tomorrow and keep your English moving.